Awesome. Well, welcome those who are just joining. It is a beautiful spring day here in Alpine. Um, my daughter insisted on hosting a pool party. So we are heating the pool. The high is going to be 72, which is not usually pool weather, but we're gratefully receiving the 72 that we're getting. And we're going to have a pool party today. But the thing I'm most grateful for today is to have Natalie home. She's been on the road for 2 weeks. She's been out on the Essential Emotions tour, and it's been so fun to watch the magic happen there. So many good people, so many good things happening, people just sharing their testimonials of how their lives are being changed because of this tool, the breakthrough process and the emotions book and just the whole thing. So hopefully you're following there. The last event was in Amsterdam, and the best venue for the event was a cathedral. So that's where they hosted their final training in Europe, was in a cathedral. Awesome. So, somebody says we're willing to support the AI. So here's the deal with the AI. It is, we've built an app. It's like 90% of the way there. And the app will have a cost. I think it's super, super affordable. I can't remember the pricing that we came up with, but the goal was to have the app replace the phone number. That way it works internationally. Doesn't matter what country you're in. The phone number thing really only works in the US for US texting. So that's the plan. We just got to meet with the developers and shuffle some priorities and then push that over the finish line. So that is the plan with the AI. There's no need for you guys to pitch in. We're gonna, once it goes live, there will be a cost. So if you value it, then you can buy it. And if not, no worries. But somebody was asking, what is the phone number for we call it the Essential Guru. And the phone number is 385-526-2553. So I'll type it in here too. So it's 385-526-2553. And what's cool is you can just text your questions and you can just put them in plain English. And hopefully by now, most of you have experienced AI, so you know how cool it is. But that's the way it works. It formulates answers and then also asks you some questions, and it's just a conversation. So it's a chatbot AI. So hopefully that serves you for now. It is meant to be a temporary solution, but I think it's a pretty dang cool little tool. I just love technology. When it works, it's amazing. I'm sure most of you can relate. So that's my background is tech. I came from web design and I built websites and had a really great career until Natalie found those crazy little brown bottles and brought doTERRA into our lives. So, alrighty. Well, we're most of the way through May. Hopefully you're on track with your goals. Hopefully you're moving forward with the falling in love with the process. That's what Tiffany speaks to often is focus on the process and falling in love with the process. So hopefully that's what's happening for you in May of 25. But I am here to support you, whatever your issues are, whatever is coming up, whether it's goals or blocks. Happy to talk through whatever serves. So go ahead and raise your hand and we can bring you on live, or you're welcome to put your questions in the chat. And Julie, yes, this is the same as the one from convention. So nothing's changed. I mean, we've done some upgrades, but it's still the same phone number, still the same feature set. And what's cool is it's not only the Essential Life book, it's also the Essential Motions book. So that's why, we need to have a profit model so that value can flow where the value is coming from. So super cool, fun to be alive in a day and age where AI can build apps now. AI can make videos. I just saw that Kinsey turned on an AI assistant during this call. It's just so cool. So grateful. So how can I serve you today? What's coming up for you? Raise your hand if you want to come on live or put your questions in the chat. If your family is anything like ours, probably none of you can come on live because you're all running from uh, kindergarten graduation to high school graduation to college graduation, like, and sports games. Like, it is so full on right now. We've got a nephew in a lacrosse tournament this morning. We finished up both of our kids' sports seasons last week, and it is full on. So I totally get that. But I'd love to serve you if you want to come on live. Um, doesn't matter how big your question or problem is that you want to talk through. I'm here to serve. Speaking of tech, if anyone on this call has figured out a way to never get another sales call or text, would you please share that with us? Because I got like 3 calls in a row yesterday. And we get deliveries here and we have to, and so I have to pick up calls or else I also had a service team come that needed to call. And so if anybody has figured that out, would you please share that with us? Because it drives me nuts. All right. Are there protocols or ways we can help others with certain injuries or issues with mRNA? I can't speak to that, but if anybody else knows, feel free to put that in the chat. Yeah, that's a big one. Tony says, are we still doing the men's call? No. We had between 3 to 4 people attend each call, and that was at tops. But some weeks we had nobody show up. And so we put those on pause. And so apparently there wasn't enough demand. So no longer doing the men's calls. There's still the Facebook group if they want to jump in and ask questions. But yeah, that is the status. Kathy, hello from Germany. I can totally imagine the joy of having Natalie back home. Met her in Brussels and Hamburg. Both times were absolutely magical. Oh, so glad you got to connect with her. That's so great. Glad you got to be there in 2 countries. So that's great. Julie says, I've been on the do not call list for 20 years. Still get a ton of spam calls and texts. I know, right? Like how, maybe, I don't know. Do we need to like hire someone on the dark web to go out and do something for us? Like, come on, this is ridiculous. What's the point of the do not call list, right? Oh, I have watched some funny videos about people who do reverse pranks. They like prank the sales callers. So I guess there is that option. Um, okay. Well, love to have anybody who wants to raise their hand, come on live and talk through whatever's coming up for you. All right. Selena says, what's your best end of month incentive? Oh, such a great question. Incentives, there's a time and a place for incentives. Um, I will just offer a word of caution. Um, so, um, incentives do come with a cost. So we just want to be careful because most often the cost is we devalue the product. And so we never want to do that too much. doTERRA used to do like 4 BOGOs a year or at least 4 big offerings, and they found that that was having a negative impact on the perceived value of the brand. So that's my word of caution. And I will tell you that the month that we joined doTERRA, our enroller, Jen Kelly, offered like a free citrus bliss, or there was like a $10 oil. I can't remember what it was. And that's what moved the needle. Natalie was like, I have to drive this enrollment form back to her house tonight because that offer ends at the end of the month. So um, I guess um, the answer to your question, what's the best incentive, is it depends. It depends on who you're speaking to and what's going to motivate them. So um, let's say you're enrolling a customer who really values, well, I mean, here's what Natalie and I have done. We've offered a free book after they enroll when they set up their LRP. And so in the past, we've done Essential Life, but the Modern Essentials worked great too. Some people use the Advanced Oil Magic book. Really doesn't matter what the book is. The point is there's a lot of perceived value in a physical book. It lends credibility to what we're doing, and people just love free stuff. Plus, the value of that is much higher than like a $10 oil, right? And the thing we love about the book is it starts to help them integrate it into a lifestyle. It helps ensure that they're going to have an ongoing need because they have the empowerment tool to look up their health issues and find the solution in the book. So the other thing that we don't like about doTERRA incentives, if like our upline offered a wild orange or citrus bliss or something, the problem with that is if you're giving too much product, that starts to cannibalize your volume. So we love to offer tools that help drive volume instead of pull away from volume. So just be mindful of that. I'm not criticizing my upline. They did, it worked, right? What they did worked. And we joined doTERRA, and when we got on it too, in a timely fashion. So I would just say, try to tune in to what they need. I know some people are offering an essential emotions breakthrough session for people who enroll. If you got people with mental health stuff or depression, anxiety, or just daily stress, that could be a great offering. I know other people who offer an aroma touch. It could be a hand technique, or it could be on the spine, whatever you're comfortable with, and you got to do what people are going to jive with, and you don't want to make people, that could be awkward, right? If I'm a girl and there's a guy who's enrolling, that could get weird fast. So just be sensitive to what your prospect is most in tune with. If they're a builder, you might offer a free business building guide, right? A printed physical copy of the business building guide. Now, obviously, you're going to want them to have a book too, a Essential Life or a Modern Essentials book. But yeah, all those tools are going to empower them to the next step. And I love some of the comments here. Tracy says, a free Zyto or Itobi scan. Love that. So powerful, right? Again, you're not competing with their next order by doing that. And so all you're doing is help empower them to move into more healthy choices. So love that. Okay, I've seen some more questions roll through. So let's see what else we got. Um, Nicole says, I'm moving my family this weekend. My nerves and stress are on overdrive. I use adaptive daily. Does anyone have other favorites for this? Oh, we are sending you so much supportive energy, Nicole. I feel your pain. Moving can be so much. And so yeah, that's a lot. Um, I I would just make sure that you've got your baseline nutrition going, especially with the BMG, the omegas. Um, with it's crazy how much that plays into um, mental and stress and even depression. So that would be my advice, but I'd love to hear other people's tips. How do you manage nerves and stress, especially with big changes like moving? Okay. Um, okay. Tony says tips on booths. Um, so booths and expos can be a fantastic way to connect with new people, find brand new leads. Um, what we found is you want to have really high touch. In other words, maybe you do a free offering of, we're going to be giving away a diffuser once every hour. So enter your name here to enter the drawing. And then what I've seen work really well is people have a little form that you fill out. And the form says, have you used doTERRA before? Do you have an account? And then what are your top health concerns? And then if you fell in love with doTERRA, would you be open to hosting a class to get more free stuff? So the thing I love about that is you can start filtering who to focus on with just a few short questions. First of all, if they already have a doTERRA account, you're not going to focus time and energy on them. You're going to give them a high five and say, awesome, go work with the person, your upline, and you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to try to prospect someone, obviously, who's already in. Second of all, are they open to, the health concerns? It's going to help you know what samples maybe you can connect them with, and or what videos to send them, what messaging to follow up with them on. And then the hosting a class is great because I know a lot of people who have found builders at booths. The Garretts held an expo. They had a booth during the Alpine days, and that's how they found Lassen Phoenix. So she's a presidential diamond now, and just so incredible. So definitely having giveaways we found works well, and then gather as much information as you can on the entry form. And then the most important thing with booths is really fast follow-up. Okay. So, you know, fortune is in the follow-up, and it's never more true than with booths and expos. When people come to an expo, they probably encountered, I don't know, 200 different brands, and they maybe met 50 different people. And so you have to stand out from them in the noise. The best way to stand out is by customizing the message. Hey, Jim, we chatted the other day about your, plantar fasciitis. Just want to follow up. Here's a quick video, or here's, can we connect? So that follow-up is crucial. I found what's works best is shoot a text and then do a phone call. So the text is going to let them know it's not a sales call, as we've been talking about. Well, it is a sales call, but it's one they were open to. And so the text, helps them pick up the phone. And as I said, the higher touch, the better. So the phone call is much higher touch than the text. A lot of people get excited about these systems where, it sends out auto text and it sends out follow-ups and, it has the whole, even the AI functionality nowadays, but it's low touch. And so high touch is what works best. So, yeah, great question. Okay. Um, Ooh, I love this. Tracy says, on the incentive topic, she offers a free immersion blender for starting the foundational wellness bundle. So good. And then on the stress question, somebody says balance oil. And then there's a link here for the question about the mRNA. So go check that out. Nicole says, foundational wellness. Good. Glad they're traveling with you. And somebody else says gut health. Okay, so Veronica, you're not searching the wrong websites on the Essential Life book. They're out of print right now. And so I think you can buy some on eBay, but they're like $120. So if that's what you want to spend, great, but they're out of print. So that's why they're not on Oil Life's website. Kathy recommends breath work with oils, especially Shinrin-yoku for stress. Awesome. Okay. All right. Well, I think I hit all those questions. So what else? What else is coming up? Um, okay. Kathy says, I had a conversation with my boss today about network marketing. And even though I'm a doTERRA Silver, have successful leaders like Matthias and Sabine in my direct environment, totally love network marketing system and understand it cognitively. I suddenly feel completely blocked by his critical questions. Has anyone ever experienced losing all your good arguments in a moment like that? I was totally surprised by my own speechlessness. Oh, I hear you. Sometimes, you're talking to just the right person at the right, I guess the wrong person at the wrong time. And it can suck the wind out of you and make you feel like maybe I don't know anything. So I totally feel you on this one. Um, I would just say, um, come back to what you do know. Um, you know, um, and be willing to not know. I think that's maybe the best, especially when you're in the moment and maybe you don't have the answers that you feel are right for their questions. I would just say, you know what? I never thought about that before, and it's a great question. Can I get back to you on that one? Um, I think so often we feel like we have to know everything and it has to be right then. So I would just say, be willing to not know and um, get back with them. It also just takes some of the pressure off, right? Because when you're in the moment and feeling awkward, feeling cornered, that's not when we do our best thinking. So give yourself grace and give yourself some space to reflect and get back to them. Another thing you could do is set up a three-way. So you could say, you know what, I'm a successful leader in the company, but I'm still, in terms of all the ranks, I may be one of the entry-level ranks. Could we set up a three-way call with maybe Matthias and Sabine, or someone else in your upline, and have them answer some of your questions, or even maybe if maybe they're not interested enough to do a call, but you could say, can we set up a three-way chat? And so you could start a group message and send audios through that way. So those are a couple of my ideas. But I totally know it does not feel great. Um, any other ideas on that? Anybody want to share your thoughts? I love your team name, Oilevate. Oilevate your life. It's great. All right. Any other questions today? Tony says convention gala. Um, I think that because the global convention is back in the Salt Palace, they're doing a renovation on the it's not the Vivint now, it's the Delta Center. I believe that they decided to, and I think also a lot of people came to gala who, I don't know, maybe it wasn't quite what they expected. And so for whatever reason, they split out the tickets. So the way I understand it, gala is a separate ticket this year, as it has been in the past. That way, just those who want to be there will be there. I think in the past they've had people come who maybe didn't know what it was or expected something different. And so anyways, that's all I know. I don't know if you have a more specific question, but my understanding is this year it's a separate ticket again. All right. Any other questions? Julie says, are we doing a leader-led training at convention? Yes, we are. We've actually been talking to Lindsay Norman, and she has a brilliant idea for taking, I think many of you tuned in to her earlier the calls that she was on, and she talked through kind of her onboarding process. And a lot of people are like, okay, that's great, but I want to see it in action. What does it look like for you to meet with a prospect? What does it look like for you to onboard a new builder? And so what she's proposing is we have a day of just role play where she shows what it looks like to meet with a prospect. She shows what it looked like to onboard a new builder. So that is the tentative plan. We usually do our trainings before conventions. So if you're interested in that, plan on coming a day early. We don't have venues booked yet. This is still early stages, but that is the plan for now. So great question. All right, who else can we serve? What's coming up for you today? While you're thinking about that, I wanted to share a quote that um, that I heard in my study this week. Um, so, we often talk about money and money blocks. I actually did a session for someone just yesterday who was, trying to work through their money blocks. And I heard one of my favorite coaches and mentors mention this quote by John Wesley. Many of you know that name. He's one of the great pioneers. He was a Methodist minister, and he wrote a sermon called The Use of Money. And this is a quote from that. He said, "Earn all you can, save all you can, and give all you can." And I really like that. Um, and by earn all you can, the way I would rephrase that is create all the value you can. We came here on earth to create, and so lean into that. Be a creator, and so earn all you can. Second, save all you can, and then three, give all you can. So I did another call for a team in Romania, and they asked, "What is my definition of wealth?" And that's what I said. I said to be able to give more generously than you can even imagine. doTERRA is so different. We don't, at our conventions, we don't bring up people and give them big checks and show off fancy cars and houses. Like it's such a refreshing culture. The thing we do show off on stage is the people who are doing good. We try to showcase the Healing Hands projects, the co-impact projects, um, and not in it, not to brag, but just because this is our culture. That's what we love. You'll notice that every incentive trip, we dedicate a whole day to serving. And so that's our culture. And that's what we showcase on stage and in the magazines is the good that we're doing. And not in a way of patting our backs, but just recognizing like most people who do a Healing Hands projects, they're not doing it for the recognition. They're doing it just because they want to do good. And so I love that about the whole the company, the culture, the way the company has chosen to like basically support financially the whole Healing Hands arm of the company so that any money donated can go straight to the cause. There is no overhead. It's 100% flow through, which is just incredible. The more I've gotten to know nonprofits and just the world in general, there's so much skimming off the top, in so many places. So I just love that about doTERRA. All right. Anything else I can do to serve today? Well, if not, then I think we'll call it a day. So thank you all so much for hopping on. And we are, it's up in the air what the schedule is for the next 3 weeks. I think Tiffany will probably do at least one of the calls, but we will be traveling. And so just stay tuned. We have the text notifications. In case you don't know that, then go ahead and go to sharesuccess.com/call. So let me just share that so that you can see what I'm talking about. So if you're not getting text notifications, text share, the word share, to 801-845-4560. So again, that's 801-845-4560. And that'll give you text reminders about maybe if we're having a special guest or if we need to take a week off for travels or whatever. So all right. Well, if there's no other questions, then we will look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.